Is it me or you?
I don't know. That's what we got to figure out. We're both strong personalities. So this is Gem X Live, the official episode 1 podcast. And
Yeah.
pretty excited. It's Christmas time, hence the hat. If you're watching this after the fact, which we suspect a lot of the views will be actually not live, but after the fact.
Yep.
So
Still building up the channel, so we don't expect a large live audience, but we have some interesting topics, and I think we'll probably clip these and release them on the channel as well. And I think it'll be fun, man. I think we should probably talk about why we even decided to start this channel.
yeah, for sure. So, and I think before we go into that really quick, so we are going to be live each week. The holidays are here, obviously, so the schedule is going to be a little weird for the next 3 weeks or so. But then after that, it'll be consistent, generally Friday nights. But yeah, it'll just be an hour show each time, and like Jem said, or Mr. Mint. Is that what you want me to call you, Mr. Mint?
Well, I knew you were going to be Mr. X, so I figured we would kind of go in tandem with that.
The fact that it's not capitalized and you don't have a period after the Mister is driving me nuts. I got to tell you that.
I was thinking of changing it when I saw yours, and I was like, let's just leave it.
It's ticking off my OCD. But yeah, let me precurse this a little bit. Jem and I, if you followed our other channels about collectibles, we're very close, and we did a precursor to this new podcast to get on each of our channels, kind of talking about why we wanted to do it. We're very like-minded, but we're very different people, and
Definitely.
we talk quite often, and we generally don't talk about collectibles or YouTube, which is kind of how we met. And
I never send you a text like, "Oh, did you pre-order this?" Like, it's the last thing we talk about.
Yeah, no. But we talk about real life stuff quite often, especially with the state that our world's in. It's kind of a crazy time in the world, and it's a time where people are very divided over stupid things. But anything to add?
Yeah, we both have collectibles channels, so I think it made sense for us to, hey, let's have like this outlet where we could talk about other things that interest us that are not in the collectible space. Like, as you can see with the thumbnail here, we're going to talk about Trump. Imagine doing that on either one of our channels, especially like a couple of years ago. I think maybe now I could get away with it a little bit more, but some of this stuff is really not stuff that you would ever touch on your channel. You really kind of stick to like the collectibles aspect, or maybe even like traveling and family related stuff. So I just feel like it's a cool outlet, and I didn't want to just do it on my channel this week, on your channel that week. It's something that we can do together as like a collaborative effort. So already I've been having fun with it, man. It's kind of like I'm excited to talk about this stuff, to be honest.
The big negative to this is it's really affecting our friendship because we don't talk anymore because we want to save it all for these weekly talks. Like literally, we still talk, but he'll bring up a topic and I'll tell him to shut up. I'll be like, I don't want to hear it. Let's wait till Thursday night or Friday night. So,
but what I do like about it, and for those watching, so we have like these meetups on Wednesday where we kind of come up with the topics for the next day, because we want it to be fresh. Even the stuff we're going to be talking about is like reaching like the 48-hour mark. So I think we'll be more up to date with planning these topics out like right before the show and everything. So those have been fun meetings as well.
And I think with that, we're going to have some pretty controversial topics, but we're going to try and respect every viewpoint, no matter where our viewpoints fall. So if people are live in the chat or even the comments afterwards, do the same. I mean, people are allowed to have different thoughts.
I agree.
So so really, and I think with that too, it's not that the collectible hobby is dying, which a lot of people are saying, but it's just been a big part of our lives. Yeah, you did a video on that, but it's been a big part of our lives for a good 7-8 years, and we're not negating that or getting rid of it, but we're just adding other stuff to it.
Yeah, exactly. So with that being said, with that little background, you want to go into the first topic here?
Yeah.
All right. So we got Johnathan Majors. Let me pull up the article so at least we can have something to present to you guys while we're doing this. So let me screen share.
While you do this, I haven't followed this super closely, and I just say I think he's an incredible actor. Like as He Who Remains and Creed, he killed it in Creed 3. Such a big fan and jealous of his body as well.
But so am I sharing this? Can you see this right now?
I got to throw it up there. Hang on.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, great actor. I mean, I didn't love the move towards Kang in the MCU. And what's funny is this is kind of stuff that I would talk about on the channel, but again, I don't think you would ever really make a video on this subject. So I definitely liked him as an actor. Didn't love the Kang whole thing, but then he got into this controversy. He had got into a domestic dispute with his then girlfriend, which led him into trial and bring up all these types of questions as to whether he'll still be Kang in the MCU. Is Marvel going to drop him? And the verdict came in. So he was charged on like 4 counts, and he was found innocent on 2 and guilty on 2. And Marvel Studios canned him like 5 minutes after the verdict came out. So this is the article that we have from the New York Times. Marvel will part ways with Johnathan Majors after guilty verdict. He was convicted of misdemeanor assault and harassment for attacking his girlfriend in a car. And like I said, the company dropped him shortly after. So Mr. X has not seen the video footage in question. So I'm excited to play this for you and kind of get your live reaction on it. So do we need any more context on this or what?
Yeah, this is kind of an offshoot, but I first want to talk about, I feel like the MCU, you and I talked about this. The MCU is not doing as well as they did in the first few phases.
No question.
Yeah. And one of the reasons they did so well is they stuck with the classic. This is my opinion. They stuck with the classic characters. They brought in Hulk and Thor and Iron Man. The ones who, even if you didn't read comics as a kid like you and I did, people had some familiarity, and then they went in there were these amazing movies. Well, in my opinion, the MCU thought they did I guess we can swear on this channel, was so fucking good that they're like, you know what, we're going to do whatever the hell we want, maybe cheaper licenses, maybe, a little more unknown characters, which some comic people absolutely loved. But I don't think you can have the same success. So even as a huge comic book guy growing up, I'm not as familiar with Kang when they reintroduced him. I had to relook him up. I vaguely remember him. So I think they made a mistake going with that character, not necessarily going with Johnathan Majors, but going with that character as the new Thanos or the new, huge villain for the next Avengers movie.
So let me speak on a couple of those points that you made, which are all valid points. So the first point I want to make is that the Avengers was never the Marvel's most popular characters, right? And they kind of had to use them because they didn't have the rights to Spider-Man and the X-Men, which had movies with Fox owned X-Men, and then Sony that owned Spider-Man. Now, I think Marvel got cocky as hell with Guardians of the Galaxy. They made this D-list team. As a comic fan, I would argue more so than you are. I didn't know who the hell Guardians of the Galaxy was when that movie came out, but they had James Gunn. They had a great soundtrack, a great cast. Terrible ending, really. I think that movie gets a lot of praise, but that ending was terrible. But they got so cocky with that, they kind of felt like, hey, we can take any group, any villain, any character, and we can make it a household name. You know what I mean? We're the MCU. And I think they proved that wasn't the case. So also, it's not like that they couldn't, they didn't have the money for licenses. They just didn't have the licenses for their bigger franchises, like I mentioned before with Spider-Man and X-Men. So they kind of were forced to make do. But yeah, they got cocky with Guardians. Phase 4 really felt like they didn't have a plan after Endgame. And a lot of people will argue that the MCU really ended after Endgame, right? Because where do you go from there? Now you're introducing time travel, quantum realm. You ruined Hulk's arc. What's that?
Multiverse. Well, and if you think about it from whether you were big into comic books or not, you're like, who do you want as the next villain? Thanos is hard to beat. He's really hard to beat. And you and I have talked about this before. Galactus, a real Doctor Doom, not the that we had in the Fantastic Four. I mean, there's Noel is super popular right now. I think that would be huge to introduce him, even though super. He's
very new. I think the problem was that they had to make plans before they really had the rights, because Galactus and Doom, those are all Fantastic Four villains, and that's under that Fox umbrella. So they had to come up with a big bad that they already own the rights to. Although I feel like they should have pivoted immediately, because when did they get Fantastic Four and X-Men? They had to get that had to be 2018 or something like that. They've had those properties for a while now. But Kang wasn't the big bad. He wasn't a worthy successor to Thanos whatsoever. And then when they introduced Johnathan Majors, they didn't even introduce him as Kang the Conqueror in the Loki season 1. He was He Who Remains, a variant of Kang who was super goofy and jovial and wasn't intimidating whatsoever. So something that I mentioned on my channel in a video was like, I didn't buy the whole, I'm not intimidated by this guy, but I will be intimidated by this other version of him with the same actor. I just kind of felt like that was going to be a long shot. And now look, now we're probably not even going to get that, because Marvel has now dropped him, and they have changed the upcoming Avengers Kang Dynasty movie title to now just Avengers 5. It's kind of like the fill-in title until they figure out what they're going to do. But to that point, the fact that they're able to kind of pivot so fast leads me to believe that they never really had a solid plan to begin with. They're kind of just throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks. They tried with Shang-Chi, with Eternals, with Ant-Man. Like, we got an Ant-Man trilogy. How crazy is that? Like, what the hell? So anyway,
I want to say
what
so you're waiting to see Jonathan Majors as this evil, horrible Kang, whether he could flip that because he was such a jovial, whimsical character. He did that in Creed 3. He came as a solid guy who was just humble, and then all of a sudden he turns around to be this cocky ass, badass villain. So I think he could have done it if he had the opportunity.
So I didn't see Creed 3.
You got to watch it. It's fantastic.
And I've seen the other ones. All right, so let me share my screens here. Can you pull up what I just switched over to with this video?
All right. Is this it right here?
I got to do it. Hold on.
Technical difficulties on episode 1.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be like that. All right. So let's play the video. Okay. I think this was kind of like the nail in the coffin. Now, when you watch this video, at first, it's going to look pretty bad. You're going to look at this, I think, and be like, yo, yeah, he definitely is guilty, right? You ready?
All right. Which one is he?
Here we go.
Is he walking?
So this is him right here, shoving her in the car. Looks pretty bad, right? This is what got him in trouble. But what happens is he runs away from her, and she chases him through the streets of New York City. So look at this guy. This guy, Johnathan Majors. She's chasing him. This is insane, man. All right, hold on. Let me see if there's more of that.
There he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he could bench press her.
So what happened is she apparently broke her finger when he was like putting her back in the car. But my whole thing is like, this man is literally trying to run away from you, trying to get away from this situation, and you're chasing him down, and then you go press charges on him, knowing this is going to kill his career. It's going to definitely hurt him. And I guess it's like, you know, one of those things. What's the saying about hell hath no fury than a woman's scorn?
Yeah. So I don't agree with where you're going on this, man, for two reasons. One, you said she broke her finger while he was shoving her in the car. He broke her finger. I mean, you know.
No. Her finger broke. So his action of pushing her into the car aggressively, that's ultimately what gave him one of those guilty verdicts. So what do you think? You think it was warranted that he should have been found guilty for assault and harassment or whatever based on, I mean, that's only a little bit of the evidence. That's not the whole thing. But.
Yeah. You know, and I did some reading up on it. You know, I didn't I haven't been watching a lot of news on it because that doesn't interest me that much. But to be honest with you, I think when you're in a certain position in life, you have to operate differently. So like, let me give you an example. If you've ever been like part of, you know, mega churches, every mega church pastor is accused of sexual misconduct, every single one. And people who have, a negative view of the church will be like, because they're all shady. And to be honest with you, when you're in a position of power, you're more attractive to people. That's just a fact. You're more attractive to people when you're in a position of power. So if you're in a position of power, people probably fling themselves at you more, come on to you more. And to your point, hell hath no fury, like a woman scorned. What if you reject the woman? Then she'll claim, well, you did this to me. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's some pastors and some mega churches that did do some horrible things. But because of that, you have to operate differently in life. So, for example, if I was in a huge position of power, I would never be alone with a female, period, other than my wife. It would always be on camera, no matter what. I put cameras in my office.
To that point, do you ever see Johnny Depp take photos with women? Like, he doesn't even touch them. He puts his arm, like he hovers kind of by them.
Yeah, so because of that status, you have to operate differently in life. Is that fair? Well, Johnathan Major has millions and millions of dollars, and So
Yeah.
I think that you can't be shoving a woman like that. I mean, what, you can't tell me when he was running from her, he didn't have a cell phone. Call the police right
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, he definitely aggressively shoved her into the car. I mean, that was crazy, right? But it's like the fact that she chased him down afterward. Does that seem like he was really out to hurt her? You know what I'm saying?
Why didn't he
Like
call the police?
he probably should have.
I mean, I'm just saying it's.
So let me ask you this. So he was found guilty. He broke her finger, not intentionally, but he breaks her finger trying to shove her into the car. It looked to me like, hey, you go in the car and get the hell out of here. I'm out. And he runs away. So do you think Marvel Studios should have canned him for that? Was that bad to be like, all right, we can't work with this guy anymore?
So I appreciate that Marvel withheld their decision till the verdict was announced. A lot of times that doesn't happen. They cut ties immediately. So I do appreciate that, but we live in a different world today. We live in an unforgiving world. So I don't know. That's the answer. If they
didn't want no part of it, any guilty verdict, no matter what, they were going to cut ties. If there was one out of those 4 charges,
if he's screwed out of the film industry for the rest of his life, then yes, I think this is terribly wrong. But I don't think he will be. Remember Robert Downey Jr.?
Well, yeah, and I heard rumors that DC is eyeing him for a role in the upcoming DCEU or DCU, James Gunn's universe.
Fine. I mean, this isn't going to ruin his life, but I mean, you never, ever, ever, ever hit someone smaller than you unless you're, trying to save someone's life. I mean, and you never hit a woman. Yeah. I mean, that might sound like a sexist thing to say. I mean, you can shake the shit out of one, but never ever hit her.
First of all, what he did was not as bad as that. It looks bad though when you see it at first, but then when you watch the whole thing and her chasing him, I don't know. I feel like it kind of hurts Marvel Studios more so than it hurts Jonathan Majors. I feel like because, like to your point, I think they're not going to turn down his call for Creed 4 or whatever. You know what I mean? And if the rumors are true about the DC, it just goes to show you about the DCU. But man, I kind of feel like that's messed up that she pressed charges against him. But I feel like, hey, she probably figured if we're broken up, screw this guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to hit him where it hurts type of thing. But
and like I said, that's why it may not be fair, but it's the way life goes. If you're in certain positions in life, you have to respond differently.
Yeah.
It's just like
he messed up. He was definitely, if he hadn't have done that move, he would have been fine. If he would have just got out and ran and that was the whole thing, he would have been sitting pretty right now. But yeah, he kind of, he took it to the next level.
I did see in the comments, someone said that she took his phone. And I remember that's what started the fight because she thought, I did read that up. So he didn't have his phone. Yeah. So that's fair.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And what'd she find on his phone? He could have been cheating on her. He could have been texting other women or something like that. But
that's what they said. I was reading her earlier today. So
yeah, so that's why he ran.
He'll be fine. I mean, he's going to go to jail for a while, but he's a big motherfucker, so I don't think he has to worry about any of those.
Is he getting jail time for this? I don't think he's getting jail time.
They said up to a year. They're sentencing him in February, I think.
Oh well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, what if they could just give him probation or something? You never know, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how good his lawyer is, but yeah, it's an interesting fact. I'm okay with it because I wasn't super attached to Kang, even though I think he's a magnificent actor. I think it might be good for the MCU.
It forced them to pivot away from this direction they were going in, right? Yeah. Damn. All right, so that's Kang the Conqueror, Jonathan Majors. I don't know. I kind of felt like it was harsh. I kind of felt like it was harsh to hit him with the guilty verdict and harsh to get fired as well. But yeah, to your point, man, all eyes are on you. You're a multimillionaire. You're a A-list movie star. You can't be shoving women into cars like that and I guess expecting to get away free, man. And I heard, speaking of his lawyer, that the lawyer didn't really do a good job. They played the race card. It's like, this had nothing to do with it, man. And going on that angle rather than obviously my client was trying to get away from the situation and the what is it, the plaintiff? Is that the person who's accusing? Whatever she was chasing after him, trying to keep him in this situation. So it sounds like they played the wrong angle. All right, man. So listen, speaking of villains, so we were on my channel and you mentioned voting for Donald Trump in the 2020 election. I'm curious, who do you plan on voting for in 2024?
Well, as of 2 days ago, I can't vote for Trump even if I wanted to because I do live in Colorado. So
This is
I'm
crazy,
sure
man.
everyone knows. So former President Donald Trump has had a number of lawsuits against him for countless things. A lot of them have to do with the January 6th incident. And 12 states have actually put in forth motion to disqualify him from the 2024 ballot, Colorado being one of them. And the Colorado Supreme Court voted 4-3 to remove him from the ballot in Colorado for this upcoming election. And anything Trump related does two things in the country. Number one, a huge portion of the population gets really excited anytime anything bad happens to Trump.
Oh yeah, there's definitely people that are celebrating this and cheering it on.
A ton of people, millions, tens of millions of people celebrating. Then there's tens of millions of people who are outraged. And you and I have had this conversation about politics many times. I feel like 30% of the population is far left. No matter what, they're going to stick with the left candidate. They hate Trump no matter what. Trump could cure cancer, and they would hate him. Then 30% of the right is the same way. Biden could come in and cure cancer, and they would say he's a liar, he's a cheater. Then you have 40% in the middle that listen to facts. They may have certain values that agree with one or the other, but there are so many problems with what happened in Colorado, and so let's back up a little on how they made their decision. So first of all, it was the Colorado Supreme Court, so the highest decisioning body in Colorado, and it was the court has 7 people on it. 3 of them are Republicans, 4 are Democrats, and the 4
unelected. These are unelected,
appointed.
Right.
So just like the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court. So what they did is they took the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment essentially has a Civil War clause that talks about if you're part of an insurrection, then you can't run for these certain bodies. Now, the problem with this is a lot of different things. Number one is it specifies what offices, and it doesn't specify president. So
so that's one of the things that
there's people on both sides. Some people are arguing that it insinuates president. Some people say it's a law; it has to say president. So there's a little bit of interpretation issues there. But, and I know I'm taking all the steam here. The Court, the judges, that's their job, is to interpret the law.
Right. Okay.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I'm not as well versed in this as you are, but from what I understand, they had a trial. Not that there was no jury or anything, but there was a trial, and they determined that he did incite an insurrection, which in turn prevents him from being able to run for president, right? So that's like the whole thing here. And a lot of people will argue that he was never charged or convicted for inciting an insurrection, but that doesn't matter based on the Constitution. It doesn't state that. So to your point, it doesn't state that you have to be charged or convicted, and it doesn't state whether or not, what is it, that you can hold presidency, or that it was or if you were a former president. Which one?
Correct. Either. It doesn't even mention president. Yeah. So and there's some problems too, because I see some of the comments. Some people are still up in arms about what really happened on January 6th. Some people are adamant that Trump instigated, caused, and was behind some of the bad things, the horrible things that happened. And some people are, hey, he wasn't behind them, or some of it was staged, or whatever that looks like. And
I mean, you could go deep on that one, because first of all, there's a lot of questions on who was in the crowd, right?
Correct.
Whether it was instigated to get to the level that it got to. But see, me using my critical thinking cap, I never looked at it like a huge disgrace against our democracy, or some kind of they kind of made a mountain out of a molehill because it was Trump, because they wanted to have some type of excuse to get him out, or whatever it was. I think maybe had it not been 2020, where we had all these other riots and all this other kind of crazy stuff happening, it seemed tame in comparison to that.
I would agree with that. Like, some of the stuff I heard was this day will go down as a day in infamy. This 9/11 and Pearl Harbor. It's like,
no way.
Thousands of people died.
I feel like, man, it's disrespectful to compare it to those things because, like you said, man, the people that died in planes and in buildings in Pearl Harbor with the bombings and everything, and then one person died during January 6th, and it was a woman that was killed by a police officer. So it was like, how could you even compare those two things? I look at it like this: if the people feel like they're not being treated fairly by their government, what are they supposed to do? Like, at least they took it to the Capitol rather than just take it to their own neighborhoods and, like you said, looting and burning it down and killing people. They protested the way that they protested. And to talk about Trump as well, the other thing that's very kind of like, I don't want to say fishy, but during that day, he put out tweets that were removed, calling people, "Hey, go home. Let's keep it peaceful. We're the party of law and order," and this and that. But he was being censored by Twitter at the time. So
interesting fact. One of the members on my channel, who I know is going to watch this, he's an attorney and he's very anti-Trump, and he's a very smart guy, has great conversations, and he said even he disagrees with this because he believes Trump's guilty of all this, but it hasn't been proven in court yet, and so even he disagrees with this ruling because it needs to be proven in court before we can, move forward.
See, not based on that article on the Constitution. Like the Supreme Court justices in Colorado, they're not wrong in enacting this. The problem is it sets a dangerous precedence because now you have, like, what is it, Governor Abbott in Texas threatening to take Biden off the ballot, citing treason for the open border policies. So now that's just going to bubble up to like Civil War type of antics because now you're not allowing the other parties to even go on the ballot. You're not letting the people choose who they want to vote for.
One of my favorite quotes, and you see it on both sides. You see people say, if you vote for Biden or if you vote for Trump, you are killing democracy. And I on Twitter, I always comment to them, I don't think you understand the definition of democracy. It's for us to be able to vote for who we think we should.
So that's the thing that kills me about the left, man. They always accuse the right of doing what they're actually doing. So they'll say like they're defending democracy, but you're trying to get your political opponent arrested. You're trying to get your political opponent removed from the ballot. These are things that they do under like tyrannical rule. And why do they want him removed? Like they're so afraid that he's going to win that they have to go to these lengths to make it to where you can't even vote for the guy. And back to what I was saying about those Supreme Court justices, like, again, they're finding a legal loophole where they're able to do it. So they're able, to say that, I know you mentioned behind scenes that what they're doing is illegal. I don't think that it is illegal. I just think that the Constitution is so vague in that article, which is why it's going to go to the Supreme Court, and everybody assumes it's going to get shot down because you have Clarence Thomas, who's a Republican.
I think that's the second part of this conversation. But I would say this to you, Jim. I'm very close to a lot of people who are very, very anti-Trump. They're incredibly intelligent people. They're reasonable people, and they see him as the most horrible thing in the world. They're legitimately scared he's going to destroy the country. And let's be honest. Some of the shit he says, it doesn't help that. So I don't think everyone's scared he's going to win. They're scared that he is going to legitimately destroy the country.
But I never understood that. And yeah, of course, I have friends that are on both sides. And I'm the type of person, I don't care, man. Whatever your beliefs are, I don't let that determine who I could be friends with or not. I'm not a Republican. I do think that Trump's policies are better than Biden's. Put it like this. We had 4 years of Trump and we've had 3 years of Biden. Who would you rather live under? Like, which policies are better for us as citizens?
I do gotta. So you made a statement about how sometimes the left does projection. They accuse someone of what they're doing, and the right does it too. But Barbara Streisand today, she tweeted, she said that underneath Biden, he is starting to get the inflation under control that is due to COVID. However, under Trump, we had the worst unemployment we've ever had. But
just false. It's not. Those are not facts.
But no. It's like, okay, so the inflation is due to COVID, but the unemployment wasn't. I don't understand. I think it was
It's like the gas. It's like the gas prices thing. When the gas prices go up, oh, the president doesn't control that. But when they go down, oh, Biden got gas prices down. It's like I thought presidents didn't control
There
it.
are tweets by people in the White House, and it was the same under Trump. But there's tweets that say, if why is gas price going so high? The administration has no control over gas prices. Then 6 months later, when they're lower, thanks to the administration for getting these lower gas prices.
Well, I mean, man, I didn't pay attention to the press secretaries under Trump. I didn't really pay attention to politics much at all until 2020. But I mean, the press secretaries for the Biden administration have been something else, man. Like blatant lies. It's like it's really been insane.
So I want to come back to the decision to remove him from the ballot, because this is really layered. There's a lot of layers to this. So we talked about what happened and legality of it, but here's the problem: Colorado never votes for a Republican candidate, even close.
Right.
We went 72% for Biden last election.
And that's only because of Denver, right? The rest of the counties are always red. It's just really the big cities.
But that's the majority of the population. That's 75% of the population. But
right.
Colorado's a really weird state. It's liberals who love guns, which you don't typically find in a lot of places. But
I think there's a lot of Californian transplants I'm hearing now too, that they've left California and going to Colorado.
So what they did is moot for the election. It doesn't matter whether Trump or any Republican candidate is on the ballot in Colorado, because they will never, ever win the electoral votes for Colorado, no matter what. So that got me thinking. So what's going to happen? Well, to your point, this is dangerous because it sets a precedent. Does it mean that other states can do the same, for any candidate, Democrat or Republican? But
they're trying, what I hear.
Then it got me thinking, because 12 states have filed the same motion, or 11 other ones. Then it got me thinking, why do it in a state like Colorado? So we have two outcomes. It's going to the Supreme Court, like you said.
Right.
And either A, it'll be upheld, which will cause other states to do it.
Then it's going to get crazy. Oh, no.
B,
if it gets upheld in the Supreme Court, every blue state is going to enact the same thing. And really, it should pass then if that's the case. Why would it not?
So, and if they do, so a very wise man told me this, and I believe him. To your point, it's true. I think that the Democratic Party is very afraid Trump will become president again. Whether they're afraid because he'll destroy the country, whether they're afraid
they're not afraid that he's going to destroy the country. They're afraid. Go ahead.
They're scared to death, and they're trying to do everything to stop him. And this is a latest example. So somebody told me this, and I think it's a conspiracy theory, but I'm glad this is recorded.
A lot of those have been proven to be true.
No, what if this alone starts happening with other states and it causes enough mayhem where they can suspend the election in 24?
Yeah, they could.
It's very real.
That's the same thing. They would love to cause what's a state of emergency, because under a state of emergency, Ukraine doesn't hold elections. I feel like something with Canada happened with that as well. Trudeau, there was no elections held there either, I think, because of COVID. Yeah, that's the scary thing about these people that are in power. And I don't know who can support somebody who is aggressively trying to hold on to power without doing it through the elections and through the will of the people. That's the problem for me. That's what makes me, again, with my critical thinking cap, say these are the guys that are in the wrong. These people that are trying to use these loopholes and persecute their political opposition are definitely not on the right side of history.
So that's one direction we could go, where the Supreme Court would uphold it, right? Now,
there's no way. I don't. Yeah, go ahead.
The other one is where the Supreme Court, strikes it down, says it's unconstitutional. Then you have to think, well, we knew that was going to happen. To your point, most people believe on both sides that because the Supreme Court is stacked from a Republican or a conservative standpoint, this will be struck down. So what was the purpose of all this? So
a lot of times it's a smokescreen because other shit happens. Everybody look at this. The Epstein client list is supposed to be released. Is that where you're going with this?
I was going to go that Hunter, and we're not going to dive into those today because those are long topics. But
I can talk about Hunter Biden all day, man. This guy.
I saw someone tweet this. they said someone's like Trump is scared to death because his name is on the Epstein list.
Bullshit. If his name was on that list, it would have been released on day one.
That's what somebody
You
said.
could bet your ass that his name is not on that list. But you know who is on there? Obama, Clinton.
Well,
who else? Oh, Hunter Biden.
I want to go back to one thing. You talked about Biden doesn't want to give up power. I don't think Biden knows he has
no,
power.
It's not Biden. It's not Joe Biden. It's easy to hate Joe Biden because of how stupid he appears when he talks and has speeches and he can't find his way off the stage. It's so ridiculous. But he's just the figurehead for the Democratic Party. So I don't know if it's Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, if it's really Barack Obama, whoever is in charge behind the scenes. It's not him, man. Like you ever see his handler? What's the guy's name? Blinken. You ever see him recently? Like when Biden's speaking about like Xi Jinping, and he's like, he's in the crowd, like he can't even listen to Biden say all the wrong shit or whatever. Anyway. But yeah, there's no way his name's on that list. But you know what I think is weird? So apparently they're going to reveal 170 names from the list, but they're going to admit 3. It's like, why are you not just showing the whole list? You know what I mean? You're picking and choosing.
The 3 never went to the island, never associated with Epstein. So they're essentially innocent bystanders in theory.
Or victims, or I heard that too.
So it'd almost be like if one day you had dinner with some of those people and you had no idea who they were.
I don't think the problem is who went to Epstein's Island. I think it's how many times have you gone to Epstein's Island? Because if you went there once and never went back, I could see you being like, okay, you went there and you're like, what the fuck is this? And I'm out. I'm never going back. But if you went there 27 times, okay, you knew what the hell was up and you were up to something, So
anyway, back on let's close out the Supreme Court. So to your point, maybe it's not illegal because laws, it is a very old law, and that's why we have judges. We have judges to interpret the way that laws go. I think that it's without him being convicted in a court of law. I think that it's a hit on democracy.
No, for sure.
Ballot. Now,
what is the reason why they don't want to just hold a fair election? And that's got to make you think about the 2020 election, right? The moves they're making now to prevent him from being on the ballot.
Hey, watch what you say. I don't want our new podcast to be suspended. I'm dead serious.
Right? No, I understand. Well, in 2020, we would have already been cut off. This whole conversation would have been done. But what I'm saying is, how come they really pushed for the mail-in ballots? It almost makes you think, was this all because of the mail-in ballots? You know what I'm saying?
So this is a topic that we're going to cover in October.
Okay. All right. Hopefully.
Right?
Hopefully we're around.
If there's an election, we'll cover it in October.
Is it too much to ask for a fair election? That's all I'm saying. And my thing is, again, I have no party allegiance. I would never consider myself a red-blooded Republican. I would consider myself more of a what's the word I'm looking for again? When you're not an independent. Damn, I'm drawing a blank.
Man.
I don't know what I'm drawing a blank right now, man. Hold on. It's with the I word as well, but it's anyway.
So I agree, though. I think there's a lot of shady stuff on both sides during the election, and it's too hard to manufacture, and it's just and then the problem is you have people, and I throw myself in this, that sometimes we don't know what we're talking about, but I'm not an elected official like AOC.
I'm just giving my opinion.
Well, I remember when she said it's racist to make people get voter IDs, and it's like, why is that? And she's like, well, it costs money. Are you insinuating people of different races have less money? I mean,
well, first of all, Biden insinuated that blacks were not smart enough to go on the internet to get them. That's like the most racist shit comes from the Democratic Party, man. I'm just going to put it like that.
The Democratic Party, they were the ones who had slaves. They were
the last time a president was removed from the ballot, it was Abraham Lincoln by 10 Democratic states.
Yep, and he still won.
Yeah, and he still won, and he was off the ballots. Right, that's crazy, right?
All right. So a lot of serious stuff, and we're talking about Trump being the villain, which he can be.
Just to kind of give my final thoughts on this. If he lost in a fair and square election, I don't give a shit. I wouldn't cry about it. I wouldn't be upset. If he lost, he lost. I happen to think the policies are better. America first. I do think we should drill here. It's hypocritical to say, oh, we shouldn't drill oil on our land, but it's okay to buy it from another country. Like, it's not the same damn planet. So I feel like his policies are better for Americans, and that's why I would vote for him. Now, man, I thought we were going to get to talk about Vivek, man.
Well, because I want to wait on it because there's rumors he's dropping out completely.
Well, he wanted to be pulled from the Colorado ballot. And he encouraged
but no, this just came out like hours ago.
That he's going to withdraw altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's not doing well in the polls compared to the other GOP candidates.
That's because he won't shut his mouth. He's trying to be.
That's because he's trying to be Trump.
He is, yeah, and that's why everyone hates Trump. Not everyone, but that's why so many people hate Trump because he can't keep his mouth shut. But one of the guys in the chat, Daryl, he made a good point. We better say this on camera. I am not suicidal. I'm very happy with my life. I would never do that. Jem, you?
I am not suicidal. I would never unalive myself. I love my wife and my kids and my family, and I would never Epstein myself.
Yep. Just for clarification, if I die under mysterious circumstances, it wasn't me.
And look, and if you vote blue and that's and you think Biden is doing a good job, hey, that's great, man. Like, no, that's on you. It has nothing to do with me. We could have a difference of opinion, and that shouldn't really matter in other circumstances. I've seen somebody say, "Oh, I used to like your content, but if you like Trump, then I can't watch it anymore." Like, what the hell does that have to do with what I do for comic book content? Anyway, just to throw that out there.
I think to mirror that, I mean, if you should vote for who you think will do our country better. I know my 3 dead uncles are all voting for Biden this year. You like that? So we want to take the last 15 minutes or so. We want to do something like this every single week. Maybe not just like this, but I ran across an article. It was the best villains of all time.
And since we're talking about villains during this whole stream, right? Kang,
Trump, and Johnathan Majors, and me and you. So I haven't looked at this. Either is Jem. We're going to share it, and we're going to react to it live.
Yeah.
Now, before we do, so I do see 3 pictures on there. Actually, I'll just share this, but let me share it.
Yeah, I saw this. I think I saw the 3 pictures, and one of them, I'm like, "There's no way this guy's even. Is he a villain even?"
Honda.
I think oh no, this is not the picture I saw.
Okay, so this is from Collider.com. Props to them. Best movie villains of all time ranked. So first of all, obviously you have the Wicked Witch of the West, who was
iconic,
evil. I mean, she wanted to kill a dog. People don't.
She was
like
a bitch. If you're killing dogs, you're automatically in top 10 territory.
You have Heath Ledger's Joker, who I love because he truly was homicidal,
great performance,
maniacal,
and great performance that was unlike any comic version we saw. And for comic book movies, that's tough, man. If you're not sticking to the source material, but you somehow make the greatest version of all time, like that's talent right there.
And then, of course, you have from Inglourious Bastards. I've watched Inglourious Bastards 5,000 times just to watch his performance. And I've watched a lot of behind the scenes stuff, like Quentin Tarantino, throughout the movie until he met him, because he needed the perfect person to play that role.
I saw Inglourious Bastards one time. I don't even remember this guy.
He was the villain, and he was the worst villain. You got to watch it again. It's really unbelievable.
I remember it had Brad Pitt.
Yep. So with that, who's in the top 2 or top 5? You see if you can pick 3 in the top 5. I got mine already.
So you want me to say it out loud?
Yeah. I'm not.
Vader's definitely. They're going to give it to Darth Vader, probably number 1. I would think.
I agree, 100%.
They might even put Palpatine in there somewhere in the top 5.
I disagree.
I think they're going to put Thanos in there.
I agree, just
because the impact that he had. I could go on for more. I mean, Scar from Lion King, he should be in there. Maybe not top 10, but I'll say Vader, Palpatine, and Thanos.
Okay, I'm going to say Vader, Thanos, and I'm cheating a little bit here, but one of the major horror icons like Freddy or Jason.
Okay, but not Heath Ledger's Joker? I mean, that's probably a given too.
Oh, we'll see. All right, so going down. We're starting with 25. Oh, there's one. Oh, Michael Myers. So I dug Halloween. I'm one of the few people that like the Rob Zombie remakes because it was scary as shit. That little kid.
I was never into horror movies, man. I never liked them as a kid. As an adult, I've seen some here and there, but I just never got into it. But what's crazy is I like the lore of the characters. Like I would love like a Halloween themed or horror villain themed fighting game. I think that would be dope as hell. You know how like Mortal Kombat will have guest characters, like
characters. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
that would be dope.
The simplicity of Michael Myers is he was just a fucked up kid, and he just put on a mask and had a knife and couldn't be stopped.
Yeah, yeah, I can see why he's on the list, but I'm not a huge fan. Oh, yeah, he was a bastard. Based on a true story, this guy.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes. Yo, you got to watch the behind the scenes shit on this, man. Based on a true story.
So what I love about Denzel is you watch Training Day and then you go watch John Q and you know how good an actor this dude is.
Oh, no, Denzel's the man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this. I like this. I wouldn't say that he's in the top 25 villains, man, because he wasn't really like, what did he really? He killed his one guy. He killed the one guy who was who had the drugs, right? Like
Roger or his boy.
His boy, yeah, that was kind of messed up. He was a messed up dude, though, yeah. I'm more of a fan of Alonzo Harris than I don't know the shark from Jaws. You're more of a Jaws guy than me.
Oh, I'm a huge Jaws fan. This is probably one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. And again, I think all of these, not all of them, but a good majority of the villains they just keep coming. Michael Myers, the shark. Can't stop them. They just keep coming.
Well, first of all, when you have your own theme song, that's why Vader is going to be number 1. But Jaws has his own theme song, and it's the scariest ride at Universal Studios.
It's gone, right?
That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
man what timeline did we slip into, man? Like, what the fuck?
Freddy
Krueger.
Johnny Depp was the first boy that got killed in that bed.
Was that his first role?
One of his early, before he was known, but
see, this is not fair. I'm not really.
Remake. Did you see the remake?
No.
With the new Freddy, it wasn't bad. I mean,
but I do think that he is up there on the scary meter because he can come at you in your dreams, and there's no shit you can do.
Did you like Freddy vs. Jason? I dug it.
I never even saw that one.
Okay, original Arnold from T1. Again, he just keeps coming for you.
Coming. It's hard because I watched Terminator 2 first as a kid, and I've gone back and watched Terminator. I've watched all the Terminators, but when I think of Arnold's Terminator, I always think of a good guy. I really never think of this version of him.
So not me. This was one of my favorite movies growing up, and I remember I got to go see T2 in the theater, even though I wasn't old enough yet, because I think it came out in '92, and they were dropping the F-bomb. But he was so emotionless, and and you didn't know he was a robot till about a fourth of the way through the movie.
When he cuts his face open and all that, and his eyes glows red.
Oh, he gets back up after Reese hits him with the shotgun. All right.
Oh, for Misery. Yeah, she was a wicked one, man.
Amazing actress as well.
Yeah, she was scary.
I haven't seen that for 25 years.
Yeah, I saw that one time back in the day, but that one stuck with me more. Like Inglourious Bastards, that dude didn't stick with me. This one, just her being at the top of the stairs and the guys in the basement with the legs broken and all that. Oh man,
I'm telling you, Hans Landa, you got to go back and watch that.
Yeah, I'm not really.
No, he couldn't even take
the kid the whole time. Yeah, get out of here with his no. Look at no nose over here.
Although Ralph, fantastic actor.
I like how it was like, what did they call him? Where you don't say his name, right? What was the whole thing with that?
You can tell we're not huge Harry Potter fans.
No, I'm not.
You know what this actor was really good in? He was really good in Red Dragon.
Red Dragon, what's that?
So it was the prequel to Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that.
He was scary as shit in that movie. I wonder if it'll be farther down the list. Oh, Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal Lecter will be in the top 5, I bet.
Oh yeah, I wanted to say He Who Remains, but it's like he who shall not be named or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Snow White with the apple.
I don't know. This is so outdated, and Prince molests her and all that stuff.
I guess the thing is, Snow White was so innocent. So for you to be intentionally cruel to Snow White is like you got to be a real villain.
He was
17.
You know what? I agree with that. He wasn't evil.
I mean, I kind of agreed with him.
Yeah. I mean, half the people should go.
Don't forget doubling the resources. Just kill half the population.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't take pleasure in it, so I can't disagree where they put him.
But he thought his cause was just, man. That's kind of one of those things. But maybe that's what makes him a villain too, right?
He wasn't insane though, where like Jack Torrance the Kang went insane.
So you don't think you would have to be insane to conclude that 50% of the universe's population has to die? That's kind of insane.
Remember the comment he made to Iron Man on Titan? He was like, he's cursed with knowledge. So maybe he's extremely intelligent.
That's true. He's like, yo, I know that this is the only way type of thing.
Yep. Jack Torrance, I would agree with that, especially for its time.
I don't agree with this one. I feel like he was a victim more so than a villain.
Okay.
I feel like he was possessed by the hotel. It wasn't like his intent to do any of this stuff. And what was his death count? One person he killed, or how many people did he kill?
Yeah, that's true.
He should be way lower on the list, if not even on the list. I don't think.
See, speaking of innocence, Gollum was innocent as well.
Same kind of thing, man. He was possessed by the ring.
Yeah, and
the Precious.
And did he really kill anybody? I know he tried.
I seen Lord of the Rings.
He stole the ring from at the beginning.
Is that what he is? Yeah.
Before he turned
I saw this a handful of times. I was never a big Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, Harry Potter, like that fantasy realm never really spoke to me.
Be careful.
Oh, I know. Yeah, they're gonna come for me. But I mean, what do you want to do? I have many fandoms, but these Middle Earth fandoms were just not really for me.
I would say that, but I have an $8,000 statue. So I saw this when I was young. I don't remember it much.
No, I have no idea what this is. And for number 14, so you're telling me that this lady right here worse than Thanos?
I mean, you can't watch it. I don't. Oh, Hans Gruber. I just watched him Sunday night.
Oh, yeah. What, for your Christmas movie?
Evil.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he was. Remember, he killed quite a few people.
Yeah, so the death count was a little bit higher.
Yeah, I mean, face to face, he would kill them. Like he used the office guy. God, I can't remember his name. The piece of shit guy.
I've seen Die Hard a handful of times. I'm not one of these guys where I'm like a huge fan of Die Hard. Like they got to watch it every Christmas.
Oh, I do.
I actually liked. I don't know if it was the second one or if it was the one that had what was the one where they kept playing like the background music was like the ants keep marching round and round, hoorah. I don't know. And it was
Samuel Jackson.
With Samuel L. Jackson. That was the third movie, I think. That was my favorite one.
So this
another one, Victim.
Well, is it the little girl? Because no, see right up here they have Pazuzu, which was the name of the demon inside of her.
So it's the demon. Yeah, that was a bad demon. Yeah, possessing a little girl off top is nasty work right there. So
I'll tell you this. To me, this is one of the scariest movies, if not the scariest movie ever made. I will not watch this in the dark.
Yeah, I'm not. That's already not up my alley.
Because I think that shit could happen. That's why it freaks me out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't play with that shit.
So, Night of the Hunter from 1955. Never seen it.
Never seen it.
All right. No disrespect to him. I'm sure he's great. Oh.
I've never seen this.
So, what's this actor's name? He was also a Bond villain.
Javier Bardem,
yeah,
is that him?
Yeah. He plays an excellent villain. I will say that.
Yeah, he got a stone cold face.
Yeah, that's part of it. Hal from A Space Odyssey, I would agree with that. Number 9.
I don't think I've ever seen A Space Odyssey.
Man, you're just
I know.
These aren't even horror films anymore. Right. Oh, I agree with this.
Never seen this.
You have got to watch this. This is one of the best movies ever made. So it has an all-star cast. Jack Nicholson is the main character. Danny DeVito, Christopher Lloyd. So Danny DeVito is a small-time criminal, and he finds out, and he gets caught for like stealing a car. Or not Danny DeVito, Jack Nicholson, and he gets caught stealing a car or something. So he pretends he's insane. So they send him to a mental institution where they're not really rehabilitating the guys. They're just treating them like crazy people. So he starts to turn things around there. But this evil bitch nurse And eventually they actually lobotomized Jack Nick. Spoiler alert. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
They lobotomized Jack Nicholson because he won't conform. It's a good movie.
So that's funny because I had this conversation with my wife the other day on how, they don't have insane asylums anymore. And that's kind of like the reason we have a lot of crazy people running around. But it's like, damn, were those insane asylums, were they doing any good, or were they just kind of like trapping regular people in there and then hitting them with the lobotomy and just doing whatever they wanted to? Like it didn't seem like there was enough regulation going on at those asylums,
No, and she was evil. She was scary. Like, not like, oh, there's Hans Landa. Can't believe you didn't dig this. I think this is one of the best actor portrayals of all time.
Well, he was a Nazi, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he worked
I
for
can see that.
Yeah, he worked for Hitler. Like, this opening scene, I watch it at least once a month. The opening 20 minutes.
Really? I should watch it again. Me and Fee have been on our movie kick lately, so maybe I should throw this up on the watch list.
I think it's Quentin Tarantino's best movie, and he has a lot of them.
The Alien, I guess, man. But that's just a primal being, man. Like, that's not a villain.
That's why. No regrets, no pity,
no emotion, just survival.
And it kills to kill. It doesn't always kill for food, or it kills to kill.
They just kill, to eradicate everything, right?
Yeah, can't disagree.
But they're the perfect organism.
Yep, that was in Alien 4. There's the Wicked Witch. So
Wicked
Joker
Witch
will probably be on here.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, was this the first movie in color?
No.
But it was one of the bigger ones, right?
Well, yeah, because they switched from black and white to color when she got to Oz.
Yeah. Iconic though. But you know what's funny? Like, if you were to ask, 50 people on the street what their top movie villain was, I don't think anybody would say the Wicked Witch of the West.
Well, what's sad is a lot of them wouldn't even remember her. It's like, especially
you would have to. It depends on what generation you ask, right? Like, if you ask, like, maybe our parents, that might be like the movie that they grew up with, or something. Who knows?
So I will agree with number 4 here for its time. Because
see, a lot of that you have to kind of do that though.
Yeah, because back he thought he was a woman, which back then that was really crazy. Now it's normal, so he was identifying as a female, his mother. Back then they just thought that was nuts.
Yeah.
All right, so Joker and Vader, I bet. Oh, yep, there he is.
Hannibal Lecter, yeah.
I agree with this one.
Yeah, you think? Yeah, I guess if he is on some villain shit, like he's a villain for real.
Well, he admits it. Like, he's like, I'm insane. So interesting fact about this movie, how he was behind the glass, or is more of a plastic, like acrylic. Initially they had bars, but they couldn't see all of his expressions. So they were filming like halfway through the movie or partway through the movie, and they refilmed everything with the glass so they could actually see his expressions.
Good call, right?
All right, Joker, you think?
I thought it was gonna be this. The Joker, yeah, and he was also a villain in the sense, like, he just did it for the love of being a villain. He didn't care about money. He didn't care about any of that stuff. He loved chaos.
You know what I loved about him is just there were so many little nuances, from the way he licked his lips, and I know he studied a lot of this. To every time he told the story about the scars, it was a different story.
It's such a cool, like, little like take on that, right?
Because
that was a Joker has always been like that in the comics. Like, you never really knew his origin, but they kind of canonized the Killing Joke as his origin. But it's like it played with that aspect. Like, you don't know who the hell this guy is. How did this happen? He'll give you a different story every time. Very cool.
And I do like the one scene I really like is, do you remember his first full scene when he walked into the TV and the gangsters in the kitchen?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, where they're having the meeting, right? And then he kills the guy with the pencil and everything.
Yeah. So the one guy, he's like, someone like you, a freak, and he freaks out. He's like, no, I'm not a freak. Like, it offends him. It just goes to show. All right, so Vader has to be number 1. We haven't seen it yet.
It's Darth Vader. Yeah. And I disagree with that.
I agree. I disagree as well. So there it is.
First of all, he has a redemption arc. And then in the prequels, you get his whole up. You're a fan of Anakin, like you root for him. And yeah, he went bad. What was he bad for? 2 movies, maybe.
So here's the funny thing. I think if you take certain parts of it, so if you took Empire Strikes Back, if you took the Obi-Wan series, and you put those together, yeah, he might own the top spot, especially the Obi-Wan series.
Or the end of Rogue One.
Oh yeah. If you took those, but to your point, if you have a redemption arc, you can't be the #1 villain of all time.
But he did destroy planets, right? He destroyed Princess Leia's home world.
I don't know. Wasn't that Admiral? What's his name?
But it was under Darth Vader's orders, no? Or are we blaming it on Palpatine?
No,
you're more a Star Wars guy than me.
The Admiral said fire when ready.
But Vader was definitely complicit. Wasn't it his task to build the Death Stars and that was his orders?
That's why I liked Obi-Wan. He was walking through the street just strangling random strangers and dragging them with the Force.
Damn. I mean, he's an iconic villain, and I guess if you look at him when he appeared as a villain, I can see that he's definitely like pop culture wise for sure. See, the problem is like this list has like stuff that's not pop culture really. They're all movie villains, but I wouldn't consider a lot of those older movies to be like pop culture. And then you got the horror genre mixed in there.
So what was interesting? Who wasn't in there? Jason.
Jason wasn't in there. Let's see who is some other quick villains that we could think of that weren't in there.
Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
So if you want to talk horror, and then even like you're telling me Heath Ledger's Joker was there, but Jack Nicholson's Joker doesn't get a nod.
Pennywise wasn't in there. Pennywise was pretty evil.
He was pure evil. He's more evil than a lot of people that were on this list.
Yeah.
Who else was evil, man? Man, there was a few. Anyway, that was fun. I had a feeling that would be a fun list to react to. So we should probably have a little call to action for anyone watching this, maybe in the live stream or on the replay. What other type of countdown should we react to? We did top 25 villains. Maybe we could do a heroes countdown, or we could even do like some kind of other countdown, movie countdown. I was gonna say horror movie countdown, but I'm not really a horror fan like that.
So these are ones I have slotted, which you haven't seen yet, but for some of our upcoming top 25 most powerful Marvel weapons.
Okay, I like that. I've seen that list somewhere before. That's a fun one.
Greatest movie sequels of all time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you ever see those trilogy meters where it says like the first one?
And then 50 ways the world has changed in the last 50 years.
Wow, that could be a whole damn stream.
Yeah, so I do. You have one. One of the episodes is going to be about the 3 greatest cons of all time.
Yep, I got. Yeah, yes. Definitely, that's a good one.
Yeah, and this is to the viewers, so we're wrapping up.
Or we could put a poll up in the community tab and like which one should we do next week or whatever, Yep,
but we already have 25 topics and on top of any current events that come up. So
that's what we're going to do. Like we'll get together Wednesday. We'll see what's current event, like the Trump ballot thing. And it's not always going to be Trump related, or it could be whoever. It could be Hunter Biden, whether he gets tried or not. But it doesn't have to be political, just whatever's kind of like in current events. And then we can, we'll have that. And then we'll have some of this stuff that we have stacked up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I think it's fun topics. And I'm excited to see what people's responses are to it. So
definitely. No, thanks everybody for joining. We will see you next week.
Catch you later.